Okay, so Strider here again with Sit Down Gaming, and this game is actually going to be a ranked 3s game. We currently have Udyr, Rumble, and Warwick versus a Garen, a Nidalee, and a Malzahar. The interesting part about this, okay, so Malzahar is going for a silence first, so he can proc his passive, which will give him a little bit of a minion early game. Typically on Twisted Treeline, there's a lot of very early aggression. People usually camp right around here, around the red buff, in order to get that early lead. It doesn't look like the blue team is going to contest it at all, mainly because I don't think they really have too much that they can do early, whereas to where they have 2 silences. Nidalee is going Bruiser, so that's going to be interesting for that, because I would assume that in Twisted Treeline there's a lot of very, very thin walls. In the jungle, a lot of blind spots that you can just kind of hurl Nidalee spears through to do massive harass. Although the games are shorter, and so getting that maximum amount of damage is going to be very difficult.
Minions have spawned.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like what they were planning to do, what Red Team was planning to do, is silence them with Malzahar, proc his minion, and Garen was just going to spin to win on them, so to speak. He was just going to spin them down, do a lot of damage. Nidalee started with traps, so she can get that early vision advantage. As far as the blue team goes, the blue team is going to have a very good advantage later on in the game, because they are going to be extremely tanky. Udyr is one of the best champions on this map because it's so hard. If you've ever played Summoner's Rift, you know how difficult it is to kill an Udyr. Imagine trying to do that with 3 people instead of 5. It is incredibly difficult. Although Malzahar is a fantastic pusher, so it is going to be difficult for Udyr. But he can farm well under the tower, so it's not a huge deal. It doesn't look like Red Team has a jungler. But Warwick is going to be great in the jungle. He is kind of getting down low, but he is able to heal that up with his items, his cloth armor and 5 health potions, plus his passive and his Q. Looks like Rumble is getting zoned out from CS, but he is able to put on some harass onto the Nidalee. So that's really good. Looks like they're going in for a gank. I'm not sure if that's the best part on Warwick's, because I think they're going to get first blooded. Nice. That was a great play on Blue's part. Warwick was very, very close to dying, but he was able to get that heal. Looks, yeah, they're going to flash over that. Yeah, like I said, the thin walls are catastrophic in this, because it's so easy to just come up through here, flash to that wall into that bush. It's very, very dangerous. This gives Rumble an opportunity to miss out, or to get a lot of the creep kills that he did miss out on. As you can see, Garen has 8 creep kills, Nidalee has 2, so that's total 10. Almost 6, so he's not even really that far behind, except for possibly some experience, because he was getting zoned for a while. That was a very good trade, 1 for 1, although they did get 2 assists as opposed to just 1 assist, but First Blood will kind of counteract that, as you can see. It's only 300 gold difference, not going to be too much, but it does help. Every little bit helps, especially in Twisted Treeline. So Udyr is going to go back to mid lane and just start farming up again, or I guess top lane. Let's see. It looks like Warwick is just going to keep taking the small jungles. I haven't seen him go for any of the buffs yet. Like the speed buff up here is great, although, oh, okay, he's going for that now. It's an awesome buff. So you go so fast. The movement speed buff is insane, as you can see right when he gets it. Yeah, movement speed by 30%. That's huge. Move that with Warwick's passive, he's going to be a freight train. If you put that on Udyr, however, it's going to be even worse. Alright, so Red Team has a crazy amount of vision around this buff. They do not want Warwick getting this red buff in here. That would be a horrible, horrible idea, because once Warwick hits 6, you know he's going to start ganking, and it's going to be very, very difficult. Once Malzahar sees Warwick on his map, he should just start his silence on top of him, so if Warwick ults, it will silence him right off. I think that's one of Malzahar's only defenses to that. Other than that, they will have to go for the Garen, because Garen does have his passive Q silence that will also get Warwick off. So having 2 silences against the Warwick is not good for Warwick, because it's going to be very, very simple to get him out of his ult, and that's one of Warwick's main things, because turning a 3 versus 3 into a 2 versus 3 is pretty significant, especially with how much sustain he has. And they do have vision on this. Red team does have vision on this. Warwick has no mana, so he's definitely going to back off on this. There's nothing he can do to prevent that. So they admittedly did put a trap there, was able to get vision. They're going to take red buff now, since they know Warwick has no mana and Rumble can't really do anything. And they have their top lane pushed up. So that was a great pickup. It looks like they gave it to... Well, who did they give that buff to? Did they steal that? Warwick did steal it. I missed it completely. That is just embarrassing. Okay, so... yeah, that was a fantastic steal from Warwick. That was the best play he could have done. Is just run in there, smite it, and run away. With that 30% speed buff, there's no way they're going to be able to catch up to it. I don't think any of them. Okay, so Nidalee went back and got boots. It looks like Malzahar is going back, and he's probably going to pick up some boots. Yes, he does have sorceries already. Malzahar is going to continue to get scarier and scarier. He is able to farm considerably well, although he's getting double farmed by Udyr. Udyr is just sitting in lane. He's freezing it at his side. So this is very dangerous for Malzahar to even poke out a little bit. Malzahar is level 4, so he's 2 levels behind Udyr, and bottom lane's both level 5, and Rumble's level 4. So yeah, Rumble's getting zoned a bit still. He is quite behind on CS as well. I think Rumble should probably pick up some armor in order to help negate some of this damage that's being put out. I think an Hourglass maybe in his future, just a guess. They do have 2 AD champions, so I think Chain Vest would be very, very beneficial. Udyr's going back. He's actually going to take the race now. He has double buffs. He has movement speed and attack speed. That's just from his passive, though. So he is going to be terrifying. He's going to slow them down with red buff. If he gets his ult on somebody, that's going to proc red buff a few times. Looks like Nidalee and Garen are going to start the bottom jungle just a little bit, because it doesn't look like Warwick wants to risk going down here against 2 of them, especially with all these traps Nidalee has up. She has 3 traps, just trap, trap, trap. So if anybody enters in this side of the jungle, they're just going to get a lot of vision, a lot of MR reduction. Looks like, okay, so yeah, that was perfect for him to come out there. Oh, that was a fantastic gank. I'm not sure about that flash on Udyr. Probably, well, of course it wasn't necessary, but it was definitely good. That Q from Warwick was an insane range. I didn't even think it was going to hit on that. So if I was Udyr, I probably would have flashed as well, just to secure the kill. That was another great kill on Malzahar. So he's behind. Udyr's going to go back and pick up some items. Malzahar just respawned. Yeah, Udyr now has Merc Tread, so he's not going to be silenced for as long. He's not going to be stunned, although they don't actually have any stuns. They have a suppression. I'm not sure if anybody's going to go QSS. It is a little bit risky to go for a Quicksilver Sash in this game, since they don't really have too many things. You would only have to worry about Malzahar. I think Merc Treads is also probably overkill. I probably would get Quicksilver Sash over Merc Treads, to be honest. A Ninja Tabby might have been a good option for Udyr as well. Looks like Nidalee hit 6, so Nidalee's just going to be able to farm extremely well. I think what Rumble needs to do is he needs to not push his lane as much and just kind of freeze it at his tower for the most part. Okay, so Garen and Nidalee are going to come up and possibly go for a gank. Who has Dragon Ward? It looks like they're trying to set up for a dragon, but it might be a bait. Although they don't have vision into this, and their team doesn't currently have the wards. Oh, yep, they see something going on. So that Tiger Stance is wrecking it. They might, yeah, he's going to ult it. Okay, so they still got the dragon buff, but they might lose it. Okay, that was a fantastic Rumble ult, slowing all of them down, doing so much damage. That Warwick ult, oh, so good. Alright, so this is going to be very, very difficult for them to get out of now at this point. Rumble is getting incredibly low. That was a great slow. Not sure about him going back in there, although Malzahar does not have any mana left. That was a great fight. It was a 1-for-1, and one team had a dragon. So that was great. It was definitely worth the risk for red team to go in there and try to contest it, try to steal it with that Malzahar's percentage life pool that he puts down. It's like a black pool. There's a percentage of the target's max health over time. Fantastic for taking down bigger buffs like this red buff and this main objective, the dragon. Great for that, and then he pressed that Udyr just stood in that pool taking so much damage. That's probably the main reason he died, putting on multiple visions and being able to get everything done. Getting that Udyr, since he does already have 2 kills, getting rid of his dragon was necessary, definitely necessary. Italy is just throwing down some poke, preventing that Warwick from recalling, which is quite amusing, I think. It's great that she's able to delay his backing just to kind of waste time and let Garen and Malzahar farm up a bit before Warwick comes down to go for any ganks. Warwick does have an Oracle now, although red team doesn't have too many wards. They're mainly just using the Nidalee traps for a lot of their vision, which I think is a great option for them. So they are going to check red. They see that there's no wards, so they are going to start it. They don't see Rumble in this bush. I'm assuming that they know he's there, though. They're probably going to come in. Rumble might ult. Yeah, Rumble's going to ult and try to pick up somebody off. Nidalee's just going to kind of run out of there. Malzahar may turn around. No, it looks like Malzahar's going to get caught. May ult. Nope, it doesn't have time to. Yeah, so that was a great play by blue team, forcing the red team to go after Dragon. Or after red buff. They forced them to go there because they don't want Warwick to have that. They have to try to do something. So they did try, they stopped it, but then again at the same time, they stayed on and Warwick still got the up anyway. So Warwick's going to be incredibly dangerous right now. Although Garen looks like he's still doing some work here. Nidalee's coming in, they're going to try. They're not going to dive because Warwick does not have his ult right now. So it's not going to be the safest thing for them to do. Looks like Malzahar is coming up. They're just going to disengage this because there's no real reason for them to fight here. So they are going to turn around on that Nidalee. That was a great bush stun. That was a fantastic ult by the Garen. That sword does also percentage life depending on how much life the current target is missing. So the lower life you are, the more damage it's going to do. It's very difficult to... Oh, and he got executed by the wolves. Actually, he didn't get executed since he was recently damaged by that Warwick. So Warwick got credit for that kill. Very, very bad. That was basically a free kill, and zero consequences to that. So, I really wish Garen would not have done that. It kind of makes the game a little bit more into the blue team's favor. Now Warwick's stacked up on buffs. Warwick's ready to just go into any lane he wants at this point. Pop his ult. He can literally just stand right here and jump over the wall if Malzahar is close enough. He can jump over the wall with his ult. He doesn't have to flash. He doesn't do anything. He just ult and he's there. And you can't predict that because he has an Oracle, and so if they had a ward here, he would have cleared it out. And they're gonna have complete control over that. Looks like Rumble is getting chased down here. Oh no, looks like Nidalee's just gonna kind of pop on some harass. Oh, Rumble's actually gonna turn on her, but she does have heal. They did pop the exhaust. He is on overheat, so he is silenced. Malzahar couldn't get in for the ult yet. Luckily, Garen did not have his ult because he used it earlier to kill that Udyr. Just barely got out of there. They did take top tower, so Rumble did level up. That was a great exchange. So while Rumble did have their whole team distracted down here, they were able to take top tower. The towers are huge, obviously in the game in general, but on Twisted Treeline especially because there's significantly less towers and it's a lot easier to get. And money is more scarce to come by. There's less dragon buff, so global gold is a lot less scarce. That was an awesome stun by... Oh yeah, that's going to be dangerous for Garen. The awesome thing about Garen is that even if he's suppressed, he's still going to be spinning. As long as he's spinning, he's still going to be spinning. Whether he's stunned, he's snared, he's silenced, he's just going to keep spinning. He does not care. Garen just goes off. Once he starts spinning like that top, there's nothing you can do to him to stop him. So you either have to blow him away with a Jan ult, a Trist ult, a Gragas barrel, something like that is just going to, that's the only way. So it looks like Blue Team is going to pick up another dragon. That was an incredibly fast dragon. As you can see, Tiger Stance with Wit's End is ripping apart anything. All creeps. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go back mid, kind of push the wave back so they don't take these tower or deal any damage to it. Nidalee's coming back bot, but Rumble does see him because they do have this ward and they still don't have an Oracle to deal with that. So currently, Nidalee has a Wriggle's Lantern, which is a very interesting choice, I think, because, like I said, there's not many neutral creeps or neutral objectives in here like there is in Summoner's Rift. So you don't see as many Wriggles as you typically do, because most junglers have an innate jungle capabilities. Yeah, so Nidalee's barely going to get away here, but jukes him into all three of her teammates. Udyr gets caught there without his turtle stance. Okay, that was a great turtle stance right at the end there to prevent a lot of that damage. So, awesome ult by... Oh, that was great. There's so many good plays coming out from this Warwick. This Warwick is just carrying the blue team into victory. Oh, carrying, yeah. He doesn't want to dive the Garen's push, even though Garen doesn't have his ult on. Because he does have that Oracle and does have double buffs, so he doesn't want to risk losing all those buffs and an Oracle, because Oracle is 400 gold. And so if you take off 400 gold from their lead right now, you know, it's not significant, but it is enough to make a difference. Oh, he pops Summoner Heal. He baits the Summoner Heal on that Garen. And he's going to run out of here just fine. If he gets in trouble, yeah, he'll just Q a minion. So that was a great ace pickup, although Nidalee just spawned and she's going to be running over there back into her Cougar form. She might come from the back. Yep, this is going to be very dangerous because she's going to do some damage. He is ignited, so he cannot heal much. So, yeah, Nidalee was able to shut down his killing spree, giving her a lot of gold. It's a lot of bonus gold. That was definitely something that they did not want to give Nidalee. Nidalee is a great bruiser, despite her main popularity from Hotshot GG being an AP carry. A lot of changes have been made to her that makes her into a significantly good bruiser, surprisingly. She's able to get in there in Cougar form, you know, it gets her some magic resist, some armor, and she's able to tank a little bit more natively than other champions, other bruisers, just by a passive. She doesn't even have to use, and then you take in the considerable amount of mobility that she has, which I think is what makes her incredibly strong on this map. She can just go into Cougar form, jump, go to a jungle camp, and then jump around. She can get from tower to tower to tower to tower and never get caught. Even if you have wards all over the map, you're not going to be able to catch her. So it looks like Red Team's bottom tower is pretty close to going down. They can pretty much just pick up a kill. Blue Team can pick up a kill on Malzahar or Nidalee or Garen and just take this tower for free for the most part, because they're not going to be able to defend off all three of these people. Obviously, that kind of depends on how many ults were used to pick off a kill, but more than likely that is not going to happen. So, yeah, Udyr's coming in. They might do a tower dive here. Looks like they're getting ready for something a little crazy. They don't have oracles anymore. Yeah, those Nidalee traps. Okay, so it doesn't look like Garen saw that right away. So yeah, Garen does get ulted by all, well, I guess two of them, since Udyr always has an ult. Oh, that's very dangerous for Rumble. Okay, so they took out the tower luckily before Rumble took another couple tower shots. So like I said, if they can pick off one person, they just get that tower for free. And that's exactly what happened. So, I'm not exactly sure why the music just randomly turned on in the video. It wasn't there earlier, at least I don't think it was. That's very interesting. I'll fix that for next game for sure. Next time there's kind of a break. Okay, so we have Rumble going back, picking up some items. Looks like Malzahar is building a Rod of Ages, which is also, I think, a very interesting choice, especially this late in the game on Twisted Treeline. Basically, Rod of Ages takes 10 minutes after you purchase it to get the full effectiveness of the mana and the AP, because it takes time to charge up. So getting that item at 20 minutes is not going to be good. Most of his Treeline matches last about 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. He hasn't finished it at 20 minutes, so I don't think his gold usage is very effective there. And that was fantastic, being able to just hide around this cliff, waiting for her to be there. Yeah, so that's going to be a free red buff for them, for the blue team. That's a great pickoff. They knew that Nidalee was going to go there and try to trap it up a little bit. They cleared out the traps, so that was it was a bait waiting to happen, and I think it was very, very well executed. They did have to ignite her because she was starting to get away, and they didn't want to use the Warwick ult on her when they didn't think it was necessary. Red team actually does have Dragon Ward at this time, but they just take it down so fast that there's nothing they can do. And they're just going to go around the camps, picking up all the buffs. They're going to give Warwick that movement speed buff, and they're going to give Udyr this attack speed buff, I believe. So, yeah. Attack speed and then reduces cooldown by 10%. Unfortunately, in Twisted Treeline, there's no blue buff, so there's nothing that increases your mana regen, like there is in Summoner's Rift, which makes mana users and casters a little bit weaker on this map, which I think is a lot of the conflict that people have. But then again, AP casters are incredibly strong, especially when you place them in small initiating situations. So when it's a 3 versus 3, casters are incredibly strong. So you give them that blue buff with the mana regen and the cooldown reduction, it's going to be very difficult to kill them. And they're going to do so much damage. So it's probably a good call on Riot's part not to include that. Looks like Red Team is actually going to push up here, but Warwick might ult. Yeah, Warwick's going to ult that Malzahar. They're going to make sure that Malzahar can't suppress anybody. And they were able to get away from that, although they need to watch out because Garen still has his ult up, I believe, so he could get that Udyr. But no, looks like Garen's just going to try to run away, and it doesn't look like it is going to work. Oh, okay, so they gave Warwick that kill, and that was a great surrender vote and a great game. Congratulations to the victors.
Victory!